This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for Tuesday, April 29th, 2025. I'm Marek Mazurek. A startup automaker appears ready to make its flagship product, a bare-bones electric pickup truck, in Warsaw on the site of a former printing press. Slate Auto is a company that has operated in stealth mode for the last few years, but recently publicly announced that the Slate truck will be made in the U.S. The company didn't specify where in the U.S., but signs point to the former LCS Communications property on the western edge of Warsaw. In Slate's announcement video last week, the company showed an aerial rendering of a property that appears to match a listing on the IEDC's website of available properties. The county's property card lists the property as available for lease. TechCrunch was the first outlet to report the connection between Slate and Warsaw. Slate Auto did not respond to an interview request from Inside Indiana Business. The property card lists about 1.3 million square feet of space in the building, which was built in 1958 and was the longtime site of a printing press for R.R. Donnelley and Sons. When contacted by IIB, Kosciuszko County Economic Development Corporation Executive Director Peggy Friday said a non-disclosure agreement prevented her from answering questions about the property. However, in February, Friday told News Now Warsaw that the organization had an incentive package in place with an undisclosed company related to the former printing plant site. At the time, Friday estimated the deal could lead to 2,000 jobs. Slate Auto started as a project housed in an incubator run by former Amazon executives. The company is now based near Detroit, and multiple media outlets report it's raised more than $100 million in Series A funding. Slate's selling point for the Slate truck is its cost. With a bare-bones design that buyers can further customize, the base truck starts at about $28,000, and with the current federal EV tax credit, the sticker price essentially drops to roughly $20,000. Elevate Ventures CEO Christopher Day said Monday that he fears, quote, catastrophic consequences for the organization and the state's startup and entrepreneurial community if a funding freeze announced last week by Indiana Governor Mike Braun is not resolved quickly. Already, Elevate officials told IBJ 48 early-stage companies could be affected. These are startups that are far along in the pipeline for investments. Elevate is a nonprofit organization that invests state and federal money on behalf of the IEDC. Elevate has come under fire recently over its overly cozy relationship with the IEDC and the difficulty in tracking down funds between the two entities. Braun's funding freeze went into effect last week. For more about what Elevate leaders have to say, head to InsideIndianaBusiness.com. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
To succeed, you need to stay informed. You need to be engaged. And let's face it, you need to set yourself apart from the rest by connecting with a company that brings you the best. Because in today's environment, business is an ever-moving target, and we'll help you chase it. IBJ Media. The best of business is in us. Get started at ibjmedia.com/youngprofessional.
A former Hoosier and college administrator with nearly 20 years of experience in Christian higher education has been named the 9th president of Bethel College. Dee McDonald, vice president of enrollment and marketing at Crown College in Minnesota, will begin his tenure July 1st. He will succeed Barbara Belfoyle, who announced her retirement in December. At Crown College, McDonald was responsible for student recruitment and retention, marketing and brand development, as well as financial aid strategy. McDonald grew up in LaPorte. Bethel is affiliated with the Evangelical Christian Missionary Church. The school has about 1,400 total students. And earlier this month, Fort Wayne restaurant and bar Copper Spoon earned international recognition by being awarded the Pin of Excellence by Pinnacle Guide. That's the equivalent of a restaurant earning a Michelin star. Chandler Vanus, beverage director for Copper Spoon, spoke to Inside Indiana Business about the process of earning the distinction, how the Copper Spoon develops its drinks, and plans for future growth. For the full Q&A, head to InsideIndianaBusiness.com. Ascension St. Vincent Carmel President Chad Dilley is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC. A weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Mark Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.